Miami. What does that mean? What's going on? And why am I talking like this? I'm talking like this because it's the only voice that I can use and still have a voice. Because last week when Will McDonald blocked that field goal attempt and brought it back for a touchdown, I screamed at the top of my lungs and lost all control of myself and forgot to, use my stomach and diaphragm. And I think I like scratched a vocal cord or something because I still haven't gotten my voice back. So I'm talking to you like this with this voice. But I did want to weigh in, since everybody else is weighing in on the game tonight. Now, the first thing I would like to say is that a lot of people are saying that it's a must-win. I don't know what they're saying it's a must-win in reference to, because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, we're not going to the playoffs, right? I mean, we're not delusional enough to think that this is a playoff team. I mean, we're pretty bad. We're 0-3. I understand we played some good teams, but we're 0-3 because we're not a good football team. I mean, the reason we have hope to win tonight is because we're playing Miami, who's 0-3. I mean, let's be honest. If we were playing any real team, would we be saying that we have a chance to win? We'd be just thinking, okay, 0-4. If we were playing anyone real, if we were playing Baltimore, is 1-3, it doesn't matter. If we were playing the Eagles or even the Washington Commanders, we probably wouldn't think we had much of a chance. I mean, if we were playing any reasonably respected team in this league, we wouldn't be thinking it. But because we're playing Miami, we're saying it's a must-win. Let me try to go back to my normal voice. Look, I think that it's a must-win if your language is, we need to show that we can improve. Like, we need to show growth. We need to show that we're going in the direction of being a real football team. In that sense, it's a must-win. If we lose tonight, I don't know what Aaron Glenn is going to say to the media. Like, what is his excuse going to be? What is he going to say? He came in and he said, put your seatbelts on. Get ready to take off. I mean, if we don't beat Miami and we go 0-4, he's going to start looking really foolish. So in that sense, it's kind of a must-win, because if we win, at least there's something. We could say, well, we went into Tampa and we almost got a victory. We really outplayed Pittsburgh. I mean, we can make an argument that we're a real team. But if we lose to Miami, I don't think there's an argument anymore. Like, if we lose to Miami, we really are just bottom dwellers, like bottom 5 in the NFL team. Without a lot of hope, because if we lose to Miami, it probably means that Justin Fields wasn't so great or our defense is so terrible, it's going to take time to fix. So to me, it's a must-win if we're going to have any chance of competing for the playoffs next year. Like, if we go 0-4, that means we're going to win 3 or 4 games this year. And then next year is the year we're hoping for 7-8 wins. Because you can't anticipate 3 to 4 wins playoffs. It just doesn't work like that. So from that sense, I guess you could say it's a must-win. But for playoffs, I don't want to be negative. Nothing's impossible. But, even if we were 3-0, I wouldn't be talking playoffs yet. We haven't made the playoffs since, 2011? I mean, let's be real. I want to say hello to my niece, Leah, who's using the Anjali name, which I believe is her middle name. I never knew that before. It's kind of cool. Leah Anjali. Injale. Kind of like, if you say it fast enough, Injale, Leah Anjali. It kind of thinks that she may have fell into a big, giant thing of jelly, because she's in jelly. You're going to be whoever gets the turnovers. Hey, Kevin, I feel you that, there's a lot of games where this is the kind of game where you think that, and I agree. I'm kind of hoping that we don't need that to be the case, though. Like, I was kind of hoping maybe we could just beat them. Like, maybe we could just go in and beat a bad team. Like, if we played the way we played against Pittsburgh with some adjustments on defense, wouldn't it be nice to just beat them? I mean, we very easily could have beaten Pittsburgh like 30-something to 16. We really could have. if you take away one crazy, ridiculous penalty where they kept the ball on 3rd and long, and then we're able to score a touchdown, and then the Xavier Gibson fumble, man, we're 2 things away, 2 horrible mistakes away. Horrible mistakes. You erase those 2 mistakes, and we may win that game easy. You know? And Tampa, man, we went into Tampa and played a playoff team. We came so close. We fought back, and we almost found a way to beat them. So I kind of hope that we could just beat Miami. Everyone's saying they're going to light us up for 40 points. Suddenly, 2 is Marino again. Like Miami's 0-3. They're not that good. Like, can we just go in and beat them? Yes, the way we're going to win games, I would think, is by time of possession. Yes, long drives. Hold the ball for 35 to 38 minutes of the game with long, sustained drives, which means you're not going to blow anyone out because you're taking a long time. But maybe, get up 17-7, then make a big stop, go up 20-7. Kind of, maybe, they kick a field goal 20-10. We score a touchdown 27-10, that kind of game. And maybe they score a baloney touchdown in the 4th quarter, 27-17. We kind of walk out of there with a win. I don't know. That would kind of feel nice. I'm concerned about Jalen Wall and Tyreek Hill, and the Dallas Houses will wake up. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely the defense to wake an offense up, aren't we? That's why we got to keep them off the field. I don't know if our secondary is horrible. I don't know if I agree with that. I think that, Sauce got to, enough with the penalties. He's got to learn to turn around. I don't know why anybody can't coach him on that. I've been saying it since his rookie year. Turn around. When you read the guy's eyes that the ball is coming, turn around. They don't call PI barely ever if you're turned around. Am I right? I mean, am I misreading that? In my lifetime, I rarely see the flag fly when the defender is turned towards the ball, because then you could legitimately go for the ball. And so many times, Sauce is in position to do that. Like, he's in a position where if he just turns around. Yeah, Carter and Cisco's been awful. I really thought Cisco was going to be better. He was okay in Jacksonville. Carter makes no sense. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like, Carter's been bad. We picked up this guy, though, right? Jarvis or whatever the hell his name is. And you know what? Isaiah Thomas hasn't been bad. So let's take Stevens out. Let's put Thomas in. Let's get Malachi Moore in there instead of Adams. Let's fix up this secondary a little bit. What do you think, J.E.? I think we got better guys on the team. Like, I think we have the better solutions on the team. I don't understand why we're not using them. I think that A.Z. Thomas is better. So why don't we just use them? Because they're paying Stevens all that money. I hate that. Pete Carroll, who's a really great coach who had a great coaching career, is famous for, I don't care what your name is. I'm playing the best player. That was why Russell Wilson got to be his quarterback. Because Pete Carroll was not hung up about salary or draft pick number. If you're truly playing the best player, then play the best players. Malachi Moore should be out there. A.Z. Thomas should be out there. And Carter, I don't know. Maybe Carter on the running downs, you could still have Carter out there. He's been really good against the run. So 1st and 2nd down. But maybe in passing situations, you need to bring this kid Jarvis in and put him in slot corner. But it's only been 3 games, and Carter's been a Pro Bowl type player in the position, one of the best. So it's hard to just say we're going to give up on him. Is it the injuries? Does he need, I don't know what it is with Carter the second. It's hard to just accept the fact that he's done 3 games into the year. But yeah, man, if he doesn't pick it up, we made a really good trade. I think we got a decent young player. He gets called for penalties also. So they keep saying we're going to coach it out of him. Well, like, when? How hard is it to coach somebody to turn around? Like Sauce, I get it. You're on the receiver. You're reading his eyes. Right when you read his eyes that the ball's in the air, coming. Like, you're running towards him. It looks like the ball's coming. Turn around. Why is it so hard? I used to cover people in Brooklyn, 2-hand touch football. And when he was running deep and I would chase my friend, I always covered my best friend, David. I'm covering him. And when I saw his eyes light up, I knew the ball was coming, right? I would turn around.
Not because I didn't want to get called for a PI. We didn't. We were kids in Brooklyn. We didn't call PI. I turned. We didn't even have contact. It was two-hand touch. I turned around because I wanted to intercept the ball. How are you going to get an interception if you don't turn around? Turn around. Like it's. I don't understand why that's so difficult. You're running full speed on the ball's in the air. Pretend you're a wide receiver now. Turn around, half around. Like, turn like you're going to catch the ball. See where the ball is. Turn, half turn and look for the ball. How many times have you seen a pass where Sauce is covering a guy, right, chasing after him, where he knocks the ball down? But if he turns around, it would have been in his freaking hands, like an easy interception. There are times where it practically hits him in the shoulder pad. He's just got to turn around. I don't understand. And you're saying I should be the DB coach, but I don't even know what I'm talking about. I have no technique. I've never played the position. All I know is that, yeah, I'm saying maybe he can't, but why can't he? I did. Didn't you ever play football? When you're a receiver, you half turn. You're a receiver, you're running deep, and then you turn to the quarterback and you look at him and you're running. Why is it so hard to do that? I don't understand. Diggs does it for Dallas. Watch Diggs. He's covering a guy deep, and when the ball's in the air, he turns. That's why he gets interceptions. I think that AG brought this up. Yeah, but why doesn't he coach? Like, why is it that he can't do it? He's a phenomenal athlete, right? He's this Pro Bowl $30 million cornerback. I just don't understand. Yeah, AG played cornerback, and he turned around. I've heard that my whole life, right? If you don't want to get called for PI, forget the interceptions. If you don't want to get called for PI, you turn around. Because what happens if you don't turn around and the ball is short? Then the receiver slows down, you run into him, there's contact, and they throw the flag. Like if I was playing against the Jets, I would throw a deep pass and I would underthrow it on purpose. I'd throw it at Sauce Gardner's back. Because then I know my receiver's going to have to stop to try to get it. Sauce is going to run into him, and I'm going to get the flag every time. Because the guy doesn't turn around. He's not that good. Well, that's terrible news if that's true. I mean, he's like pass coverage wise, he's been ranked top 3 in the NFL since his rookie year. So, so he's doing something right. But he won't turn around. That's the difference between him being like freaking phenomenal, worth the 30 million, and being a guy we're all gonna like freaking want to kill. He must be some kind of good if they keep giving him flowers. Yeah, like someone, like even the league still ranks him in the top 5 every week. Like from all those different rating systems and everything. Like they're still ranking him high. I think it's just the difference of if he learns to turn around and you get rid of those PI penalties, he's like the best cornerback in the NFL possibly. What really bothers me also is that some of his holding penalties or PI penalties are not. Like the ones where he knocks the ball down, he gets there, and they're saying he gets there too early. It's amazing for him that they call it against them every time. And we see in the league other guys get there so much earlier. There's such a bias in the NFL. Like they made some kind of decision that we're going to throw a penalty on this guy. And some guys, you're allowed to hit the guy a second early and it's fine. Sauce gets there, and then in slow motion, the ball's making contact with the guy literally as his hand is getting into the guy's arm, and they're throwing flags. And I just don't understand it. I don't know. We might be overrating Cromartie. Cromartie was really good in San Diego, man. He came to us. He was okay. Wasn't so great, though. I remember it being a little different than most people. He had some big plays for us. He was a big play guy, but he also gave up a lot of balls. But the other team had to pick on him because we had Revis. So sometimes it's like if you're not Revis, if you're not a superstar, it's really tough when they're picking on you. When they're just designing plays to throw your way because they can't throw it towards Revis. He needs to learn to turn around and learn to tackle. Yeah, you know what? I could live without the tackling. Not that I want him to be able to tackle, but like you could still be an all-pro cornerback and be known not to be a good tackler because really, if the rest of the defense is doing their job, your cornerback shouldn't have to tackle. Because nobody's complaining about Sauce not tackling the guy he's covering. The problem with Sauce is he's not tackling running backs in the run game, but he shouldn't have to be. The fact that we're relying on Sauce to tackle shows that our defense is schemed very poorly, I think. Like, why are we relying on a cornerback to make tackles all the time? Why isn't he in position? Look how many cornerbacks have to make tackles against running backs. It's not common. But with us, it's all the time because we're doing something wrong. Let's see. I hope the sauce in the secondary doesn't get burned tonight with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I know I'm worried about it. I mean, Tyreek Hill lost a step. Let's be honest. He's not the same. But Waddle has hurt us. Waddle has hurt us really bad. We're gonna need Sauce to be on his game. But it's really the CB2. Like whether it's Stevens or AZ Thomas, that's really where it's at. Like that's what's killing us. And by the way, it's not man on man that's killing us as much nearly as zone. Like the zone is killing us, and this guy Wilkes keep playing zone. Like I thought we were going to be man press. I thought we were going to be Aaron Glenn defense, and that Wilkes decided zone, and we're getting killed. These guys are horrible. They're not communicating. We're not executing on zone. It's not working. They have guys running across the field wide open. We saw it in the Pittsburgh game. I watched it live. I was watching guys cut across the field uncovered into empty areas because nobody's picking up their freaking assignments in zone. If these guys can't pick up their assignments in zone, if you're not able to coach them and teach them, if they're not able to do it, then you can't run it. Just play man every play. You can't play zone if your guys clearly can't execute it. Like how many weeks do we have to see it that we can't? We're not able to do it. Either blame the coaches step up and take accountability that you lack the ability to teach this, or stop calling it. Just call man and blitz. Just be like freaking Todd Bowles, man. Just freaking be aggressive. I mean, if you're not getting to the quarterback a lot, you're gonna leave guys wide open anyway. You may as well blitz. You may as well put the pressure on the quarterback. Yeah. Do you think Justin Fields is good? Here's my thing about Justin Fields. And here's the problem with him. And this is the problem with a lot of NFL quarterbacks. This is why we only have a few that are really good. It's not about like good or bad. The problem with Justin Fields is he's not consistent. I mean, we've seen throughout his career there are times where he's deadly. Not so much with his arm dropping back. We haven't seen a lot of that. But just overall, as an impact player, we've seen him win games for Chicago, running the ball, making passes when he had to. We saw him against Pittsburgh doing it. And then we see him against Buffalo in other games where he's terrible, where he looks like a running back playing quarterback. Not even a wide receiver playing quarterback. Really, there were weeks against Buffalo, he looked like Deebo Samuel trying to play quarterback. It doesn't make any sense. So the issue with Justin Fields is, he's good sometimes. Like, you just don't know which one you're going to get. Like, which Justin Fields is going to show up tonight? Is it the guy that played against Pittsburgh that's going to be amazing? Or is it the guy that's going to be so you're saying, I'm a Bears fan, he makes the highest of highs and then the lowest of lows. I feel the same way. That's what it is. You just don't know who you're getting. It's like 1 week you're going to love him and you're going to say, oh my God, we might have our quarterback. And then the next week, and I followed him pretty closely because I follow quarterbacks even when he played for the Bears, and I thought the same thing. Every time as I tracked him and followed him, I said, oh, this week he was great for the Bears. And then the next week he's not good for the Bears. He's 25 years old, so I thought maybe. I wasn't a big believer. I think he's a bridge quarterback. That's why we signed him to 2 years. I think the Jets are planning on drafting a quarterback. But I think there was a chance at 25 years old, maybe this guy figures it out. And he doesn't have to be a top 10 passing drop back quarterback. He just has to be the good version of Justin Fields, the one who makes the throws when he has to. That has good anticipation and takes off when he should take off. And he just hasn't done it yet. So maybe the Buffalo game was a one-off. Maybe he comes back and for the next 5 games, out of those 5, he plays great 4 games. If he played great 80% of the time and then 1 out of 5 struggled, I could live with that. I could. At least we could have a chance to be a playoff team. Look, I mean, he's going to have to turn it on and be amazing 80% of the time. Otherwise, we're drafting a quarterback and none of it's going to matter. Then he's just a freaking bridge quarterback. The only way he wasn't going to be a bridge quarterback is if he came in here and consistently played very good every week. So, Jeremy, should I have started Waddle? He's a bencher just waiting for the Jets. It depends on who else you have, if you're going to start Waddle or not. Waddle is a hit and miss guy. I mean, you can go for a wide receiver. It depends on the week and what you need, right? There are weeks where you need to just gamble, high ceiling, low floor. A guy is going to score 3 points, or a guy can score you 20 points. What do you need that week? Like, you got to look at the rest of your team. Who are you playing? Or do you just need a solid 8 points, and maybe you have a guy who just gets 8 to 9 points, but he's consistent every week, and maybe it's just safer to take the 8 to 9 point guy. Like I don't know, like Allen from San Diego, from LA, like that. The kind of guy that just gets the solid 7 to 8 points. Like, you might want to go that direction. It just depends. But if I'm behind, or if you think you're it's hard because it's Monday night, so it's hard to make that decision. But like, if you don't have a good feel for the way the week was going, then you're going to lose them 8 points, 9 points from that position is not going to win the week for you. If that's your feeling, then you don't go with that solid 8 to 9 point guy. You go with Waddle, who gives you a chance to. Waddle's going to have some games where he's 110 yards receiving and a touchdown. He's going to do that sometimes. So, it just depends what you need, what you're looking for. We overrated the Zach Wilson draft class, that's for sure. Definitely. I mean, the trade Lance, by the way, I want no part of that. I was never that. I was never a big Justin Fields fan out of college. Not that I didn't think that Justin Fields could be a good quarterback. I wasn't a Justin Fields fan because there was no evidence. Because on Ohio State, all he did was one read. Right? One read, check down. One read, check down. One read and take off and run. One read, take off and run. One read, check down. So to me, like, that didn't mean that he couldn't. Like, I'll never say a guy can't because I don't see evidence of it. I didn't see evidence that he can't be a drop-back quarterback out of college. But there was no evidence. And that scares me. There's a lot of college players. That's why I think it's so hard to evaluate college quarterbacks, because it's so hard to evaluate them because 80% of them play in one-read offenses. Right? They just play in these one-read offenses, RPO. So how do you know? How do you know if they're going to go to NFL is so different, because we all know to be a really successful, consistent quarterback in the NFL, you have to be able to drop back and go through progressions. And 80% of the college quarterbacks, if not more, come out of college with no evidence they could do that because their college team doesn't run an offense that does that. See, and that's the problem. And I don't like comparing quarterbacks to each other. Everyone's comparing the Oregon quarterback to Drew Aller from Penn State. How could you do that? They're in totally different situations. The Oregon quarterback is good every year because they're playing in a system that's built around great receivers and offensive line. They put all their freaking marbles in that for recruiting. And they have a system that's open up and easy for the quarterback, like one read design plays, right? So it's, and that doesn't, and you see Bo Nix had a good rookie years. It doesn't mean they can't be good. But Drew Aller is not running in that kind of offense for Penn State. That's what people don't understand. He's actually dropping back and trying to go through progressions. He's actually trying to do what you do in the NFL, right? And if he doesn't do it great, then you're like, oh. But is it him or is it the team around him? I mean, name a Penn State wide receiver. Like, none of these guys are being drafted. Like, he doesn't have a single guy that's going to play in the NFL around him, right? So, I mean, if you look, anytime there's a guy in space in Penn State, if you actually watch the game play by play, anytime there's got a guy with space, he makes the throw, and he looks fine. But how many times do we see him forcing the ball into a guy that's covered because nobody's creating space? When he had Tyler Warren, he was good because he had a guy who can create space. So, like, nobody could do it by themselves. Like, you need a team. You need receivers to get open. Right? Or what are you supposed to do as a quarterback? You're not supposed to throw to covered guys. So I can't compare the Oregon's, quarterback, for example, to the Penn State quarterback. I just can't do it. You got to look at each guy. And right now, Drew Aller to me is like a Josh Allen type pick, a risky pick. I don't say that. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. He's like a Josh Allen Rosen pick. He's either going to be Rosen or he's going to be Josh Allen. He's either going to be the guy that doesn't have that, that's just going to continue to be a guy with a 55 to 60% completion, percentage, that throws a lot of interceptions and makes bad decisions, or he's going to be like Josh Allen and develop into an amazing player when he actually has NFL receivers getting open. I see him as that kind of guy. He's more of rolling the dice, whereas Mendoza, he looks more NFL ready, in my opinion, because he's already proving he could do it under pressure. he's taking hits. He's getting hit right after he releases the ball, and he's completing passes. So I'm a little bit higher on him, but he doesn't have the arm that Aller has. Drew Aller has a much better arm. Like, the strength of his arm is like staggering. But if he can't figure it out and he can't make good decisions, then it doesn't matter how strong your arm is, right? So I don't know, man. I'm trying not to be too heavy on predicting my quarterbacks anymore. I'm giving up. I'm waving the white flag and saying, I don't know. I just hope that if they pick a quarterback, I just hope they pick the right one. That's all. He couldn't leave. We need him to do better for sure. Yep. Please like and support and subscribe to Jets Chaos. Thanks, man. I think only you guys are ever here when I'm talking and doing this, but thank you. I appreciate it anyway. Love you, CB. Yeah, we're giving up 30 points. It's hard to win when you're giving up 30 points a game, Yeah, well, and with Jermaine Johnson out, now Michael Clemens is even more cemented in. So we're really suffering. We really blew it with depth at edge. I'll still say it. We still haven't recovered for trading JFM away for nothing. Like, it was the worst decision we ever made. Let's go for Hassan Reddick. Let's go after a guy who refuses to sign a contract. Let's do the trade before we have a contract in writing, and then you trade away JFM. It's just the worst thing that Joe Douglas ever did. The worst. Because if we still had JFM, we wouldn't have these issues. It would be JFM and Jermaine starting. And now, Jermaine is hurt, so we'd have to use Clemens a little bit with Will McDonald in pass rushing situations. You know what I mean? Like, so it's much, much worse because we let a very good, well-rounded, excellent defensive end who sealed the edge really well, probably better than anyone else on the team, and we just let him walk away. We traded him for nothing, for garbage. Stupid. That was so stupid. It was probably the move that aggravates me more than any move this team has made in a really long time. Because with draft picks, I can't complain so much because everybody has different opinions and you don't know until a few years go by, right? So I'm not going to sit there, with draft picks and say, to me, JFM was a proven entity. It was an absolute proven entity. We knew what JFM was, and we let him walk for nothing. And that makes no sense to me. I can't even get over it. It still pains me when I think about it. And it's still hurting us to this day that we did that. Defense was great until we lost JFM. Yeah, Quan Alexander, Rankins, Lawson, Al Woods. I mean, like, in some of those guys, I don't care about Rankins as much, but like Al Woods, Jefferson, JFM. Like, those are the three, like, where what makes no sense in the world. We just completely dismantled the team. I think we did a good job this year in filling defensive tackle. I have no problem with the way they're playing overall. Like, I like this kid Phillips. I like this young kid Briggs. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with these guys. Like, defensive tackle, I think we did an okay job. We just have no edge, man. We're really hurting with edge, with depth. And what the worst part is, they don't seal the edge, guys. It's not about only pressure on the quarterback. You could blitz, you could do things to make up for that. The problem is these guys don't seal the edge. And that's the problem. That's the worst part. Clemens is our edge. It sucks. We need 12 D linemen nowadays left. JFM made a huge difference. He got penalties as well, but we're still trying to fill that gap. Yeah, we're still trying to do it. Yeah, well, Saleh's defense was very good for a couple of years there, and that's what he's known for, and that's what he does. And this guy, coached San Francisco and did pretty good there overall, but he got fired. So maybe he looked good on paper, but they decided during crunch time, during clutch situations, that he wasn't a good defensive coordinator. They fired him. They fired him before they had Saleh wrapped up. Saleh was still interviewing at Jacksonville. So San Francisco was taking a chance they weren't going to get Saleh, and they were still firing Wilkes. Everyone thinks they fired Wilkes so they can get Saleh, but Saleh was still interviewing for other jobs. Saleh came within one coach of being hired as the, Jacksonville. He had the job if that freaking weirdo didn't take it. That's a new thing in the NFL. Like, teams are just starting, especially in Florida, for some reason, are hiring these weirdos. Let's hire that weirdo. Let's hire that guy that can't relate to people. That's a good idea. Aaron Glenn defense is a question mark. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how involved he is, but he's going to have to get involved. But you know what? It's really early. We're 3 games in, and I'm not saying the defense doesn't have problems. It does. But overall, it might be he doesn't have his complete like one day Malachi Moore might be seasoned and ready. AZ Thomas might be ready. Like he might not have his team complete yet. So it might be that we just have to be patient. I know nobody wants to be patient, but we might have to be. Don't forget we fired Pete Carroll, and then that was a huge black eye because we weren't patient. We made a judgment on a young coach, right? So as far as Aaron Glenn's concerned, we got to give him time. We got to see. But look, if the defense doesn't improve, then we got a problem. We might have to fire this guy Wilkes, get another coordinator in there. And then if it goes on for 2 years and we're not showing any growth, then we're going to be talking about AG getting out of town because that's going to all fall on him. Like, we're going to have to see this defense improve hopefully this year. But if not next year, if we come out next year and they're putting up 30 against us every week, this whole staff is gone because you can't do that. But it's too soon. I think it's too soon to make any judgment like that. Way too soon because we're 3 games in. The Pittsburgh game, we would have given up 16 points if it wasn't for the stupid penalty, the out-of-bounds hit on 3rd and 16, whatever it was, that gave Pittsburgh the ball back, and basically they scored a touchdown. And the Gibson, you take those 2 touchdowns away, and it's not nearly as bad. You're looking at like they scored under 20 points, right? So there's, you take away the pick 6 from Tampa, what are you looking at in score? Now you're looking down to 22. It gets a little bit more respectable. My problem with the defense is 1:31 left. We turn to them and say, okay, we got the lead. We need you to come through for us. And they let Baker Mayfield run the ball 40 yards down the field. And it took them, about 30 seconds of the 1:30 that they needed to get into field goal range. That's what I'm more concerned about. That when it was time to really step up, these guys couldn't step up. And Wilkes couldn't dial out a play or do anything. He was just helpless. Wilkes got scapegoated by the 49ers. Maybe. They needed to blame someone. We should have kept Jeff Ulbrich as our D coach. Maybe. I don't know if he would have taken the job, though. So, a lot of times, like defensive coordinators, like when you fire the regime, they want to start over. And especially, it's hard to go from interim coach and then downgraded to a defensive coordinator for that team. Like for him to have sat there and then watched a guy get hired over him would have been difficult. And then it's difficult because Aaron Glenn has to feel comfortable with the guy. And maybe he wasn't his type of guy, Jeff Ulbrich. Maybe he didn't like him. He doesn't like his system. He doesn't like the way he coaches. He doesn't like, who knows. But yeah, didn't happen. So, it's rare. It's very rare that happens, that an interim coach ends up staying with the team. Because 2 things have to happen. They have no other offer and they want to stay, even though it's a demotion. And then the other thing that has to happen is, the new coach has to want you, and this new coach, he wanted Wilkes for whatever reason. They must have had a friendship, and all the assistant coach meetings and all the times they do the gatherings in the NFL. He said he had a relationship with him. He liked him. They were on the same page. But he's not calling a very good game. Why won't you be at the game stream tonight? Harry says. How do you know I'm not? Did Green Bean announce that I'm not? The reason I'm not going to be there is I have clients, man. I work now. I'm in California. And when you're a therapist and you work in California, if you want clients, and, which I do, I want clients, the best way to build up a big caseload is to be willing to see clients after 5 p.m. Because think about it. You're a single working guy. You're 33 years old. You want to see a therapist because you just got divorced and you're angry all the time. Right? So you decide I want to see a therapist. Imagine this scenario. When are you going to see the therapist? You're a working guy. You work 9 to 5. Right? So that's how I got clients. I got clients from 4 to 9 p.m. every day. So that's why I need the Jets to keep playing on Sunday. And don't worry, guys. I'll be at home by then because I got an hour break, and then the rest of my clients tonight are online. So the game will be on the TV in the background with the volume off. And if I get cancellations, which I do get, I will definitely call into Green Bean, into the channel. He announced it on his stream that I won't be there. That's so funny. That is the funniest thing. What did he do? What, Harry? He re-announced. I'm worthy of an announcement. What is he trying to get people to watch that don't normally watch because they don't like me? Like Jeremy, Jets Chaos won't be there. It's safe. Come hang out with me and Frankie because we got rid of Jets Chaos. I might pop in if I have a cancellation, which it looks like I probably, there's a good chance I'm going to have a cancellation at 6 my time, which is 9 Eastern. So from 9 to 10 Eastern, I might be able to call in and just say hello. They are bringing in a special guest. Oh, okay. I wonder who that is. Maybe O'Leary? Maybe Gunny? Maybe Tigo? You never know. These are all possibilities. Could be Ryan. You know, the guy that wears the pilot hat. He looks kind of goofy. It could be him. Could be O'Leary. Let's see, who else could it be? I don't know. My replacement. Yeah, I'll be back next week for the Dallas game. By the way, people were talking, could be Jake Osmond. Yeah, I mean, by the way, a lot of people were talking, like, oh, Dallas isn't that good. We could beat Dallas. Very winnable game. After watching yesterday, we're not beating Dallas. Like, everybody's got to get off the drugs. We're not beating Dallas. Give me a break. They're so much better than we are. I know that for whatever reason they haven't played up to their potential yet. They're figuring it out, but they're much better than us, guys. They have an established quarterback. They got great receivers. I mean, Joe Pickens stepped up for Lamb, who was hurt. They got a really good running back who's back now. Like, we're not beating Dallas. I mean, maybe. The only way we're beating Dallas is like 20-19 because we have 40 minutes of possession, time of possession or something. But it would be a major upset. Like, that's not like what people are saying. Oh, Dallas, very winnable game. No, it's not. Denver and Dallas, everyone's underestimating and thinking those are such winnable games. They're not such winnable games. Both those teams are a lot better than us. So we need to stop the nonsense. You know, Jacksonville's a winning, a game we could win. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of game you could win. Miami, New England, these are the games that we could win right now until they show me something else that, that's my take on it. Guys, I got to go. I got a client coming up, so love you guys. Thanks for coming in and supporting, man. Peace out. Maybe I'll see you tonight a little bit. I'll try to get back and do this again soon. Take care.